Your Majesty. I merely scolded Consort Nian a few times. And she pushed me into the water. If the palace servants hadn't come so quickly, I would have lost my life today. She couldn't have pushed you. When Yinner holds a teacup, her hands tremble. Have you even looked at your own size? Your Majesty, powder was found in my quarters. That day, only Consort Nian's people came and went. She always seems so frail. But I think it's all an act. Impossible. She faints at the mere smell of medicine. But yesterday, she looked so well. She ate half a roast lamb by herself. She has no energy. Only a good complexion. Miss, let me carry that. Your hands are trembling again. No need. There are many guests today. Don't let anyone see our nervousness. Madam. My legitimate elder sister isn't usually like this. She only pretends to be frail in front of others. In private, she often has people beat me. If the eldest Miss Zhou truly behaves so, then the upbringing in the vice minister's household must be called into question. Nian, my child. Greetings, madam. She doesn't do it herself. She orders the servants to. Madam, if you don't believe me, look. My lady. Summon the imperial physician. Now. To answer, madam. Miss Zhou is not feigning illness. She has had a weak constitution since birth. She suffers from a severe deficiency of qi and blood. Explain clearly. She cannot endure shocks, nor lift heavy objects. She cannot walk quickly, nor can she stand for long periods. Just now, upon seeing the bruises, her heart's energy was thrown into turmoil, and she fainted. A person like that can't even hold a fishing rod steady. How could she possibly discipline the servants? She never beat her half-sister. At home, she eats a whole chicken and 2 fish at every meal. She is not that frail at all. Your elder sister is of weak constitution. Instead of tending to her needs, you have learned to ruin her reputation at a banquet. I did not. I was only, if you had succeeded today, by tomorrow, all of the capital would be gossiping that the daughter of the assistant minister's manor mistreats her half-sister. A woman's reputation is harder to mend than her life. My lady, please forgive me. I am still young. It was a moment of foolishness. At such a young age, you already use the inner court's foul tricks against your own sister. Put this away. Regarding today's incident, I will report it to the Empress Dowager. She wanted to use my reputation to trade for her own future prospects. It is only a pity that I am merely physically weak. By decree of the Empress Dowager, the Zhou family must prioritize integrity in the upbringing of their daughters. The Shu daughter, Zhou Wan, schemed against her elder sister at the banquet, slandering the good name of a lady of the imperial clan. Such a devious mind cannot go unpunished. In consideration of her youth, she shall be spared formal entry into the palace case records. However, this girl is no longer fit to attend noble gatherings in the capital. Nor is she fit to enter the imperial household. Assistant Minister Zhou is to enforce strict discipline. This subject humbly obeys Her Majesty's decree. My lord, Wanner was only momentarily confused. She is still young. How could she understand anything about the imperial household? I beg you, my lord, give her another chance. Father, your daughter knows she was wrong. Your daughter will never dare do such a thing again. Father, please do not send me away. I can turn a blind eye to minor mistakes. But you have offended the general's wife and the Empress Dowager. The Zhou family has only 2 daughters. Nian'er's health is unreliable. Originally, many matters in the future would have depended on Wanner. What a pity. All those years of careful upbringing. Father, I don't want to be sent to the estate. Once I'm sent to the estate, who in the capital will even remember me? How am I supposed to marry well after this? My lord, Wanner made a foolish mistake, but Nianer is standing right here, perfectly fine. She hasn't lost a thing. Yet Wanner's whole life will be ruined. Concubine, the young lady only woke up today. The imperial physician said she must not stand for long. She can't endure standing for long, but she can endure watching my daughter be sent away. Concubine, the Empress Dowager's decree. I did not summon it. If second sister hadn't revealed her injury at the banquet and hadn't sent all the ladies to search for me at the Lotus Pond, the general's wife would never have been disturbed. Father must protect the Zhou family's reputation. Enough. Escort second young lady to the southern estate without my express order until the very last moment. Father. Father, I was wrong. Concubine, save me. My lady, you're about to collapse. Wait a little longer? For what? Go back and rest. A pair of gold bangles, 2 cases of Eastern pearls, 6 bolts of cloud brocade, the marriage agreement and revised horoscopes are prepared. Please review them, Lord Zhou. For the Marquis family to take notice of my humble daughter is a great blessing for the Zhou family. Though the eldest young lady has been delicately raised since childhood, her health is not a hindrance. I will remember those words, Concubine Lu. Rest assured, Madame Marquis, she has the gentlest temperament. In the future, serving the heir and showing filial respect to her mother-in-law, she will certainly not make any mistakes. My lady, please slow down. We've only walked from the rear courtyard to the moon gate, and your hands are already cold. My lady, your constitution is frail. The Madame Marquis would surely understand. Why must you insist on going there yourself? Silence. The Marquis is my future mother-in-law. Today our families exchange the betrothal documents. If I cannot even offer a cup of tea, it would be a grave discourtesy, but you have been on your feet so long today. If you push any harder, I fear you will faint again. Never mind walking from the rear court to the front hall. Even if I had to climb Longevity Hill, as long as it benefits the heir, I should stake my very life on it. Since Nianer is here, come in and pay your respects to the Marchioness. Zhou Nian pays her respects to the Marchioness. My lady. You have only just recovered from a fainting spell. The imperial physician said you must not stand for long today. So this is the Zhou family's eldest daughter. The young lady is perhaps nervous today. Ordinarily, she is not. That is not what Concubine Lu told me. You said her constitution was passable, more than adequate to attend her husband. Nianer, why have you not yet served the tea? I beg your pardon, my lady. I walked too long today. Now my hands and feet have no strength. That will not be necessary. Lord Zhou. My lady, what is the meaning of this? This marriage arrangement. I fear it is unsuitable. Marchioness. The betrothal documents of both houses already lie before you. How can you? Concubine Lu. You claimed she could attend her husband. Yet to my eyes, even serving me tea seems to cost her half her life. My son is gravely ill. The Marquis' household proposed this match to bring him fortunate blessings, not to carry another invalid through our gates. With the Zhou young lady in such a state, how is this a blessing? It is plainly ushering my son to his end. What foul luck. Take the gifts. Marchioness, this matter can still be discussed further. Lord Zhou, first make certain of the words spoken within your own household, then discuss marriage with the Marquis' house again. Miss, the Marchioness has left. The tea was too hot. Fortunately, it didn't spill on the madam. It's because the young lady was gone for too long. She has no strength in her hands. No one is to blame. The eldest young lady certainly picked a convenient day to come. Didn't you say my health was adequate, concubine? I feared the Marquis' wife wouldn't believe it, so I came in person to let her see for herself. Have you heard? That heir of the Marquis of Yongchang. None of his previous consorts met a good end. More than just not a good end. Some say the second one was missing limbs after she passed. No wonder he's now so ill, reduced to just skin and bones. A man burdened with heavy debts from past lives. This is retribution. It has been thoroughly investigated. The rumor first originated from the servants of the Zhou household. It said the marquis's heir is gravely ill, and that he mistreated his previous wives. He shouldn't bring further ruin upon the eldest Zhou daughter. The Zhou family puts on quite a show. They've called off the engagement, yet still seek to slander my son's name. But with the eldest Zhou daughter's constitution, she trembles even when serving tea. I doubt she has the energy to orchestrate all this. So, find the one who does the orchestrating. Madam Marquis, what is the meaning of this? There are many people on the street. Let our two families discuss this civilly. Discuss civilly? Then teach her what words are appropriate to speak, and what words should never come out of the Zhou household. This slap is for the marquis's heir. This slap is to teach you, concubine, to control the tongues in this household. Take it slow, concubine. The master has given orders. You are to return to your courtyard and rest for the day. Get out of my way. Miss, concubine Lu has returned. Let us go back inside first. It's too late. Was it you? What do you mean by this, madam? How is it that the Wu family's disgraceful affairs leaked specifically from the Zhou household? The marquis's wife struck me. Outsiders are laughing at us. Who ultimately benefits from this? Are you suggesting I had someone spread gossip about the marquis's household? Stop pretending you're innocent. You broke off the engagement, humiliating the marquis's family. And now you use their hand to disgrace me. You were struck because the marquis traced the talk back to the Zhou residence. The young lady did not go shouting it in the streets herself. A lowly maid dares to talk back? My lady. What is all this commotion now? After the master and the concubine returned, they went straight to the eldest young lady's courtyard. Summon the household physician. The master and the concubine were just shouting at the young lady. The young lady has always been easily startled. That is why this happened. Master, you cannot simply take their word for it. If it were not for those rumors she orchestrated, how could I have been beaten by the marquis's household? She orchestrated them? Look at her condition. Others are the ones frightening her. How could she possibly frame you? For the next few days, concubine Lu is forbidden from leaving the estate. Confine yourself to your own courtyard and reflect, my lord. Furthermore, from this day forward, all provisions for the eldest young lady's food, clothing, and necessities shall no longer pass through concubine Lu's hands. Yes. This servant thanks the master on behalf of the young lady. When the young lady awakens, she will surely remember the master's kindness. Rest and recuperate well. Use the bird's nest and ginseng as needed. Do not let her faint away every other day again. Young lady, today it is bird's nest and ginseng broth. The master has ordered that from now on, your food, clothing, and necessities shall no longer pass through concubine Lu's hands. This servant has also stewed some black-bone chicken soup. Young lady, please eat more. Your complexion will surely recover. Nourishing myself like this day after day, if I still remain frail, wouldn't that be a waste of all your painstaking efforts? You must not say such things. The grand physician said the young lady's weakness is congenital, from the womb. It was never something a bowl or two of tonic could cure. Bowl after bowl, I've been drinking it down. Anyone else would have a rosy complexion by now. Yet you still look as if a breeze could knock you over. A good appetite is a good sign. At least it shows I'm still holding steady. Today is your coming-of-age ceremony, Mississippi. There will be many guests. If you feel you can't hold up, just tell this servant. Even if I can't hold up today, I must hold up. The master is placing great importance on today. I heard the general's wife is also coming. Miss, the general's wife. Last time she helped expose the second miss, and now she's coming in person for your ceremony. Others will surely not dare look down on you anymore. The general's wife is coming. Not just because of what happened last time. The Zhou family's eldest daughter has come of age. After the ceremony, she will truly be a grown young lady. Nianer, with all the guests present today, do not forget your manners. Your daughter understands. The general's wife has arrived. Today is a great day for little Nian. I am a bit late. Your presence, madam, brings light to our humble Zhou residence. Little Nian, come here. Greetings, madam. With your frail health, there's no need for such empty formalities. This is no ordinary headpiece. It looks like an heirloom bestowed by the palace. This was a gift during my grand wedding. Bestowed by the Empress Dowager. Something so precious. How can Nianer possibly accept? She is worthy of it. This child is attentive and blessed. She will surely have a fine marriage in the future. Madam, your great kindness, Zhou Nian will always remember. Walk with me along the corridor. Nianer, keep the madam good company. What you said was indeed correct. My years of failing to conceive, it truly was because of that hairpin. That day, this humble girl merely sensed something off about your scent, madam, the scent of musk. Since childhood, I have had an unusually keen sense of smell. Pungent odors always make me feel dizzy. That day, when you drew near, my lady, I felt a tightness in my chest. And so I ventured to alert you. I wore that hairpin for many years. Had it not been for your warning, the general and I might have lived our whole lives with nothing but this regret. My lady, you have already. The imperial physician has confirmed it. It is not yet 3 months, so we have kept it quiet. Congratulations, my lady. It is I who should thank you. This headdress I give today is not merely to celebrate your coming of age. It is also to let everyone in the capital know that Nian is no orphan without a protector. If anyone dares to use your health against you again, they will have to reckon with me first. Zhou Nian shall remember this. That child Nian has proven more fortunate than I expected. The eldest daughter has caught the eye of the general's wife, and with the Empress Dowager's gift to bolster her standing, her marriage prospects will likely need to be reconsidered. Indeed, they should be reconsidered. Most people see only Nian's frail health, but overlook her strength of character. You, my child, will not be a burden to the Zhou family in the future. This subject merely hopes to live in peace. Then strive to live even better. By the mandate of heaven, the emperor decrees, Zhou Nian, daughter of the Zhou household, gentle, virtuous, and prudent, composed, serene, and proper in decorum, upon the Empress Dowager's recommendation, is hereby conferred the title of Noble Lady Nian. She is to enter the palace on an auspicious day. This subject receives His Majesty's boundless grace with gratitude. The eldest daughter has gained the Empress Dowager's favor. This is truly a blessing for the Zhou family. This subject gives thanks for the grace. My lady, the road to Chushio Palace is still long. Please keep the ginseng slice in your mouth and do not rush to speak. This palace path is far too long. With your constitution, my lady, she probably couldn't even manage half the walk. Now that we're in the palace, the forms of address must change. From now on, she should be called Noble Lady Nian. Yes, this servant will remember. My lady, if you walk all the way to Chushio Palace like this, how will you possibly endure tonight? Whether I can endure it or not, we'll only know tonight. You entered the palace on the Empress Dowager's recommendation. By custom, His Majesty will likely summon you tonight. The Zhou household could not accommodate me. The inner palace will not keep me in idleness either. I'm trying to survive and live well. Noble Lady Nian, though this place is remote, it is also quiet. You are frail. With fewer people coming and going, it will actually be easier to recuperate. If it's this remote, Won't others simply forget about Our Lady? Whether one is remembered in the palace does not depend on how close one lives. The matron is right. Quiet is good. It's just right for me to recover. My lady, rest for now. If someone from the respectful service comes later, this servant will have someone announce it. My lady, from the meridian gate to here. You rested 8 times. It pained this servant just to watch. 8 times, but I still made it here. Yet this is only the first day. So I cannot lose on this first night. Congratulations to noble Lady Nian. Congratulations, His Majesty has summoned my lady for tonight. Please prepare yourself, my lady. Thank you for your trouble, Gong. My lady is recommended by Her Majesty the Empress Dowager, and so fair of face. Your future blessings will be long and abundant. Many thanks for your guidance, Gong. Your Majesty, noble Lady Nian has arrived. Summon her in. This subject consort, Zhou, pays respects to your majesty. You came from Chushio Palace. Yes. You walked here? I took a sedan chair part way. Just a few steps from the palanquin to the hall. A few steps and you're already this out of breath? Your constitution. So winded you can barely speak evenly. If attending to our needs is beyond you, we shall not insist. Rest. This subject lacks the strength for exertion. But this subject has a mind and can help your majesty dispel fatigue. And how do you intend to dispel our fatigue? What is this? Chronicles of Capital Secrets. Before entering the palace, the subject's health was frail. I attended few banquets and could not walk far. While others enjoyed lakes and blossoms, this subject could only sit behind the curtain and listen. On your wedding night, the night you are to attend us, you have brought us a volume of capital gossip. It is not gossip. It is favors, money, private grudges, leverage, and a hint of the winds blowing through the court. The Minister of Revenue. He wails in court about the empty treasury, claiming no silver can be spared for the Jiangnan floods. Yet, he has a private stash of silver hidden in an outer residence west of the city. The one living in that outer residence is not a concubine, but the person who manages his accounts. How do you know this? That account manager's younger sister once worked briefly in the Zhou family kitchen. Thinking no one could hear, she once boasted that her sister's shoe soles were worth more than other people's jewelry boxes. This subject does not know if it is true. So I have only written pending investigation. You are quite cautious. This subject's body is weak. So I can only use my mind to offer your majesty a little amusement. Just amusement? It may also save your majesty a bit of worry. Come, sit here. No need to kneel. We fear if you kneel, we shall have to summon the imperial physician again. Continue. Where to begin investigating the Minister of Revenue's silver? We cannot start by investigating the silver. Why? Silver can be hidden. People can run, so start by investigating the shoes. There aren't many craftsmen in the capital who can make shoes with hidden compartments. The soles need to conceal banknotes, yet remain comfortable to walk in without causing blisters. The workmanship must be exceptional. Your majesty only needs to have someone discreetly look into the 3 old shoe shops west of the city, and you'll find out which one that accountant frequents. You've thought this through already. This concubine had nothing else to do in the palace of accumulated elegance. You only entered the palace today. Then this concubine also gave it some thought on the journey here. Talking for so long. Not thirsty. Thank you, your majesty. Don't thank me. Continue. Slow down. I'm not going to die tomorrow. I can wait for you to catch your breath. Long live the emperor. Don't say that word. Drink. Your majesty, pouring the tea himself. This concubine fears it might shorten my life. With your health, are you really worried about losing a little more time? Noble Lady Nian. This concubine is here. This booklet of yours. I didn't read it in vain tonight, and your majesty didn't summon this concubine in vain tonight. It has been a long time since your majesty laughed like this. This noble Lady Nian is not quite as the rumors say, merely being sickly. Those in the palace who are merely sickly do not live long. All right. This concubine also has information on the Jiangnan salt circuit. Tomorrow night, then. I grant you permission to continue easing my burdens tomorrow night. This concubine thanks your majesty. Furthermore, your majesty, please instruct me. Keep this item well hidden. Don't let anyone else see it. This concubine understands. The palace has many ears. What you manage to overhear, others can overhear from you. That is why this concubine speaks of these things only to your majesty tonight. You are very skilled at pleasing me. This concubine merely wishes to live a little better. You even dare to say that. Before your majesty. This concubine would rather not play the fool before your majesty. Then live well. I am curious to see what else is hidden inside that clever mind of yours. My lady, please slow down. Walking from Chushio Palace to Fingi Palace, you've already stopped to rest 3 times. Today is the 15th, paying respects to Her Majesty the Empress. We cannot be late. We perform our daily morning and evening salutations, yet Consort Nian, how fortunate, only comes once on the 15th of each month, and when she does, it's as if she's enduring the greatest hardship. His Majesty dotes on her. For someone of frail health, even the rules seem more precious than for others. My lady. They are bringing up the morning and evening salutations again. Let them talk. Walking here has already exhausted me. I have no strength left for anger. Very well, Consort Nian is of frail health. It is only reasonable that His Majesty shows her extra consideration. That is to be expected. However, Consort Nian, you should also share His Majesty's burdens. This concubine is dull-witted. I beg Her Majesty the Empress to enlighten me. You have received His Majesty's favor for 3 consecutive months. His Majesty summons you nearly every day. Such great favor is rarely seen in the palace for many years. How is it that there is still no news by now? This concubine's constitution is weak. The imperial physicians have been nursing my health. As for the matter of heirs, this concubine dares not force it. I only hope to live up to the grace of His Majesty and your Highness. Out of breath after a few steps, dizzy after standing a moment. With a body like hers, bearing a child would surely be the death of her. Consort Xian, watch your words. This concubine spoke out of turn. This concubine merely worries Consort Nian's body cannot endure it. It was not a curse. Enough. The spring scenery is lovely today. All my sisters, come take a walk with me. My lady. It's still a long way from Fingi Palace to the Imperial Garden. You can barely walk any further right now. Why isn't Consort Nian moving? Surely you're not thinking of slighting Her Majesty the Empress's kind invitation. My lady. It is not that I am unwilling to go. It is simply that my constitution is frail. I walk slowly. If Her Majesty the Empress does not find me a dampener on the mood, I shall simply follow behind all my elder sisters. Of course I will not find you so. You are frail. Just walk a little slower. Consort Nian and I entered the palace around the same time, and we are close in age. If you find yourself unable to walk later, I will support you. Then I shall be troubling you, elder sister Shui. My lady, Consort Shui is suddenly so enthusiastic. This servant senses something amiss. It is amiss. Then are we still going? The Empress has spoken. If I do not go, I will be seen as using my illness and favor to act willfully. Only by going will we learn what they intend. My lady, the wind on the lake is chilly. You already sat for so long in Fingi Palace earlier. You are already exhausted. Her Majesty the Empress chose precisely this time for a lake excursion. She clearly knows you cannot withstand the wind. She knows, which is precisely why she demands my presence. Her Majesty the Empress feared you were too frail. She specifically asked me to keep you company and chat here on the first floor. I am indebted to you, elder sister Shui. You and I are the same age, and entered the palace around the same time. Why stand on such ceremony? You two needn't just stand there either. Go fetch a cup of hot tea for Consort Nian. It's cold out on the lake. Don't let her catch a chill. This servant dare not stray too far from my lady. What, do you think I might devour her? Her Majesty the Empress ordered me to look after her. And you two maids don't trust me? Jichuan, Jiqiu, go. Go. Consort Shui is here on the first floor with me. Nothing will happen. My lady, this servant will return at once. Nian Jiu certainly has some skill. 3 months in the palace, and His Majesty sees her every single day. Even Her Majesty the Empress worries over your heirs. Her Majesty is generous. Are you truly frail? Or just putting on a show for us? So this is why Lady Shui kept me here today. I wanted to see if someone who pants after 2 steps falls into the water. Would His Majesty still be heartbroken? My lady. She's going to push you. Don't shout yet. Wait a little longer and she'll sink. Now shout. Help. Lady Shui has fallen into the water. Help, quickly. What's going on? How could Lady Shui fall in for no reason? I said earlier the wind on the lake was strong. Yet you insisted on boating. Now look what's happened. A real accident. It was her. Your Majesty, grant me justice. Nian Jiu pushed me into the water. Nian Jiu. How do you plead? My lady. Summon the imperial physician. My lady was so frightened she vomited. Looking at her in this state, how could she push anyone? Consort Xian, watch your words. I am only speaking the truth. She trembles so much just holding a teacup. Lady Shui is not made of paper. Nian Jiu, do you think that just because you're frail and have His Majesty's pity, you can do as you please? Guards, hold. We would like to hear. Who dares to touch her? His Majesty arrives. We greet your Majesty. Your Majesty, it was not me. We believe you. Your Majesty, it was her. I saw it with my own eyes. She pushed me. She couldn't have pushed you. Your Majesty. Her little fists couldn't even swat a mosquito. She can't even hold a teacup steady. Consort Shui. Just look at your own stature. You claim she pushed you into the water. I find that hard to believe, but I truly was pushed by her. She scattered something on the ground. I slipped. Then she pushed me. Was there anything on the ground? In reply to Her Highness, nothing unusual. When this servant returned, Consort Shui was already in the water. My mistress was so frightened she could barely stand. If there had been anything on the ground, this servant would not dare conceal it. Your Majesty, my mistress could not even call for help just now. This servant only raised the alarm upon returning and seeing Consort Shui in the water. If my mistress truly meant harm, why wait for the servant to return? Where is your maidservant? Are you not the most particular about ceremony? Requiring someone to support you wherever you go? Why, then, was no one by your side the moment you fell into the water? I sent them to fetch something. How convenient. Consort Nian's attendants were also sent away by you. Enough. Consort Xing, do you think we are as foolish as you? Your Majesty, I did not frame her. I truly. Framing a fellow consort with your own body, disrupting the peace of the inner palace. From this day forward, Lady Shui is relocated to the cold palace. She shall not leave without an imperial edict. Investigate who proposed the lake outing. Who arranged for them to be left alone on the first floor, and who sent both personal maids away from their mistresses. This subject understands. Summon the imperial physician back to the palace. Yes. This consort thanks your Majesty. Do not speak. Your Majesty, please set this consort down. Being stubborn again. If this consort is carried back like this by your majesty, tomorrow the entire inner palace will be gossiping again. If I let you walk back on your own, I'd be sleeping alone tonight. Save your strength for me, Nianer. I'll shield you from everything else. Our mistress was truly terrified today. She wasn't the one who fell in the water, yet she's the one coughing up blood. Lady Shui brought this on herself. If our mistress hadn't been prepared, she'd be the one carried back today. You too, young ladies. The wind in the palace corridors carries words far. Yes. Reporting to your majesty, Consort Nian already suffers from a deficiency of qi and blood. Today's shock and chill caused her to vomit blood from acute emotional distress. Fortunately, no lasting damage was done. She only needs rest. How long must she rest? 3 to 5 days without mental strain, without sitting for long periods, and absolutely no further fright. You're awake. Just stay lying down. How long have I slept? From dusk until now. I caused trouble today. You call nearly being pushed into the water causing trouble? But the entire harem will say your majesty showed me favoritism. My favoritism toward you is a fact. But you were not in the wrong today. I am here. Do you know? I am a cursed man. In the 5 years since I ascended the throne, not a single child has been safely born in this palace. Some were lost. Others were gone before they even took form. Sometimes I wonder if I've taken too many lives. And now I'm facing retribution. You're not afraid? I fear pain, I fear the cold. I fear death. And I fear taking a single wrong step in this palace. But I do not fear you, your majesty. The lives you took were not innocent commoners. You struck down rebellious officials, traitorous armies, and men who traded the people's lives for their own advancement. Without your majesty quelling the chaos, the people of the northern frontier would be left homeless and scattered. If no one pursued the truth behind the Jiangnan floods, the disaster relief silver would be siphoned off layer by layer. Those who were executed would not blame you. The common people would be grateful, and they would support you. They would erect monuments in your honor. You are securing a place of peace for them. Your majesty is a hero, not a cursed man. Oh, really? Yes. Are you saying all this just to comfort me? This concubine wishes to comfort your majesty, and truly believes it in her heart. Tonight, your majesty does not speak of court affairs, nor of the inner palace. Then what shall we speak of? Nothing at all. This concubine will stay with you. All right. My lady, the sky has not yet fully brightened. Why are you looking at these again? His Majesty only last night said you should tax your mind less. He said there have been no children in the palace for 5 years. Fei Suwa. This is no small matter, Suwa. My lady, this servant has inquired as you instructed regarding the several young mistresses who conceived but could not carry to term. What could be found in the imperial physician's records and what could be asked in the kitchens is all here. My lady, in checking these, do you suspect someone is harming the imperial offspring? Of course there are those in the palace who do harm. Consort Xian suffered a miscarriage due to poison back then. This entry in the imperial physician's record is written very clearly. That incident with Consort Xian caused a great uproar. I heard even Her Majesty the Empress was alerted. Only, the investigation later led to a minor palace maid. And when that maid threw herself into a well, the trail was severed. Set Consort Xian aside for now. Her pregnancy seemed to be a man-made calamity. The others all hail from the northern part of Dayu. One is from Shouzhou, one from Yunzhong, and one from Yanmen. After entering the palace, they still favored the flavors of their homeland. Plenty of noodles and meat. and much fermented milk as well. But fresh vegetables and greens were scarce. My lady, could eating too few vegetables also cause a woman to lose a child? When I was little, my maternal grandmother once told me something. There was a tribe in the north. The land was harsh and cold, the winters long. No fresh vegetables could grow in the fields. The women there would bear children, many of them born with deficiencies. They wouldn't live past a few years of age. So it wasn't that their bodies were inherently weak. It was a deficiency in their diet. I can't be certain. But if none of these women were poisoned, nor suffered shock, nor injuries from a fall, yet they all happened to eat too few fresh fruits and vegetables, then we can't dismiss it as mere coincidence. My lady, should we inform His Majesty? Words without proof must not come from my lips. So we're no longer investigating the others? From this day forward, for the meals within our own palace, add more seasonal fresh vegetables. Wash them 3 times. Her ladyship cannot abide the smell of earth, nor can she stomach anything unclean. Sister Jiqiu, rest assured, these were all just delivered this morning. Her ladyship has a poor appetite again today. This morning, she only had 2 bowls of congee, half a plate of vegetables, and 3 pastries. And that's what you call a poor appetite? Back when her ladyship was in the Zhou manor, a whole chicken, 2 fish, plus 1 pastry, and she'd still say she ate very little. That was before. Her ladyship is unwell. This servant will go fetch the imperial physician. What do you say? Congratulations, Your Majesty. Congratulations, my lady. My lady is nearly 2 months with child. The pulse is faint, yet steady. Say that again? Consort Nian is with child. The fetal pulse is stable and strong. However, my lady's constitution is frail, so she must take exceptional care to recuperate. Nianer, you are my lucky star. From now on, you needn't worry about a thing. Just focus on resting and taking care of yourself, and safely deliver the child without any trouble. The imperial physician says I've been nourishing myself well lately. The baby's pulse is also steady. Your Majesty needn't worry so much. I have waited 5 years for this. I will protect him well. It is we who shall protect you both. Issue an edict. The matter of Nian Jiyu's pregnancy is not to be disclosed for now. If anyone in Chushio Palace leaks so much as a single word, they shall be charged with conspiring against the imperial heir. This servant understands. Miss Jiqiu, roast it for another half-quarter hour. That's when the skin is crispiest and the meat most tender. If Her Highness enjoys it, this servant will try a different marinade tomorrow. Use less of the pungent spices. Her Highness can't stand strong smells. The imperial physician said everything she eats must be safe and mild. Yes, yes. This servant will use only fine salt and a touch of fruit wood. A light smoke fragrance, nothing reckless added. This aroma is simply too enticing. If it keeps wafting out like this, half the inner palace will know. Her Highness had roast lamb today. Let them know if they know. The cook was personally found by His Majesty. Who would dare say anything? But His Majesty instructed that Her Highness must keep the pregnancy a secret. Your Highness, are you truly not stuffed? Not stuffed. A whole roasted lamb. It wasn't that large. Back in the Zhou household, Your Highness used to say, a chicken, 2 fish, and 1 pastry was enough to feel full. But now, look at you. Even a lamb seems too small. His Majesty says my constitution is weak, so I should eat more. A good appetite is a blessing. The imperial physician said Her Highness has been nourishing herself quite well lately. This official would like to see just who is roasting something so fragrant in the palace. You're late, sister. Were you a pig in a past life? Eating so much. I have a weak constitution. His Majesty told me to eat more. Weak constitution? With that appetite of yours, you're heartier than a pig. The imperial physician also said, a good appetite is a blessing. Did the physician also say to roast the lamb so fragrantly that the entire rear palace can smell it? If Consort Xian wishes to eat, this servant can have the small kitchen roast another. I have no interest in such things. With your health, don't actually stuff yourself sick. I am not concerned for you. I just fear if you burst, His Majesty will again blame the 6 palaces for not looking after you. Consort Xian's tongue is truly merciless. Yet she doesn't seem intent on harming you, my lady. Consort Xian has a sharp tongue, but her heart isn't wicked. And what of Her Majesty the Empress? Her Majesty the Empress is harder to say. Jichuan, this servant is here. Make a trip to Her Majesty the Empress's palace. My lady, His Majesty instructed that the pregnancy must not be disclosed, so just let a hint of rumor slip. My lady, Her Majesty the Empress has been childless for years. If she learns you are with child, what if she acts against you? That scheme on the pleasure boat 3 months ago only cost Jiu Shui That was too light a price for her. Go. On your way back, take a roundabout route. Don't let anyone see you heading straight for Fingy Palace. Yes. My lady, you've been embroidering this scroll of scripture for half a month. When the Empress Dowager asks, you absolutely must speak of it. A birthday gift's value lies in the thought, not in the toil. But others all give ready-made gold and jade. You alone embroidered a scripture by hand. It's bound to draw attention. Drawing attention is better than being unseen. Zhou Nian presents the scripture of longevity. One scroll of scripture. Your servant wishes the Empress Dowager boundless fortune and longevity, and enduring health and peace. These characters are embroidered with such square precision and delicate grace. Every stroke and line holds up. Consort Nian has been most thoughtful to be able to offer blessings for Her Highness the Empress Dowager. Is this servant's honor? Your constitution is frail. In the future, you need not tax your mind and spirit so. When the sentiment is there, I will know it. This servant will remember. Consort Nian's birthday tribute was indeed made with great care. That Her Highness the Empress Dowager is pleased is her good fortune. Her Majesty the Empress flatters me. I am not flattering you. With your weak health, you still put in such effort, which shows true filial piety. You're just full of clever little schemes. Everyone else gives ready-made gifts of gold and jade, but you personally embroidered a scripture, making yourself stand out. Sickly little thing. Hey, you dare ignore me? Consort Xian. This servant spoke out of turn. This servant was just drinking water. Your Highness, Empress Dowager. There is a draft in the hall. This old servant will fetch you a cloak. Very well. My lady. What about him? It is nothing. Her Highness the Empress Dowager. The Empress Dowager has vomited. Summon the Imperial Physician. Mother, can you hear this servant speaking? The Imperial Physician will be here shortly. How could this happen? She was perfectly fine just moments ago. In reply to His Majesty, Her Highness the Empress Dowager shows signs of poisoning. Where did the poison come from? Nothing suspicious has yet been found in the hall's food and drink. The incense burners are also normal. Only this scripture scroll carries the lingering scent of a toxic powder. It was her gift. Sickly wretch, how dare you? Consort Nian. You embroidered this scripture with your own hands. You presented it yourself, with witnesses and material evidence both present. What do you have to say for yourself? Her Majesty means I plotted against the Empress Dowager. I am loath to believe it. But harming the Empress Dowager is a crime punishable by the extermination of 9 clans. With so many watching in this hall today, the 2 palaces cannot show favoritism just because His Majesty dotes on you. Impossible. She faints at the mere scent of poison. If there truly were poison powder on the scripture, she would not have lasted long enough to present her gift. Your Majesty. Could you be a little less obvious with your favoritism? Your Majesty, this subject knows you cherish noble Lady Nian. But the one poisoned today is the Empress Dowager, your own mother. If such an obvious attempt on her life can be suppressed, what becomes of the rules governing the 6 palaces? What becomes of filial piety? Guards, take noble Lady Nian away for now. She will be interrogated once the Empress Dowager awakens. Her Majesty just said that harming the Empress Dowager is a crime punishable by the extermination of 9 clans. Yes. My thanks to Her Majesty for the instruction. Your Majesty, this subject did not commit this act. I did embroider the scripture with my own hands, but the poison may not have been applied by me. Noble Lady Nian, the evidence is right before us. No matter how you quibble, you cannot conceal the fact that you harmed the Empress Dowager. Whether I am quibbling or not, we can find out simply by bringing in a dog. Li Dihai, this servant is here. Go bring the palace hunting dogs. Yes. What is that sickly girl up to now? Consort Xian will see soon enough. Your Majesty, the hunting dogs are here. Imperial Physician. Your Majesty, this poison powder has an extremely faint scent, barely discernible to most people. If someone ingested it and it got onto their hands or sleeves, residual traces would likely remain. Then let us begin with this subject. If there's any trace of poison on my hands, I'll have nothing to say. See? I told you she looks so fragile, barely able to stand on her own. How could she have the strength to poison the Empress Dowager? Consort Xian, the Empress Dowager hasn't woken yet. Watch your words. I'm only speaking the truth. Noble Lady Nian and her two maids indeed have no residue of the poison. I didn't even go near the Empress Dowager's desk today. Nor did I. Your Majesty sees all clearly. Hold it tighter, if it bites me, I'll have its life. There aren't many in this hall who can get close to the Empress Dowager. Since Noble Lady Nian has no trace of the poison on her, why was it found on the scripture? The scripture passed from my hands to the Empress Dowagers, with no one else in between, but after it was presented, others around the Empress Dowager were not limited to just me. What does Noble Lady Nian mean by that? This old servant has served Her Majesty the Empress Dowager for decades. How could I ever harm her? Check her. Why are you backing away? This old servant is afraid of dogs. Ah, it wasn't me. It wasn't this old servant. Your Majesty, on Nanny Zhou's cuffs and under her fingernails, there is indeed residue of the same poison. Nanny Zhou. This old servant deserves death. I was momentarily confused. Who put you up to this? Such insolence, plotting to harm the Empress Dowager with irrefutable evidence. Guards, drag her out and beat her to death. Wait. Noble Lady Nian, a servant who tried to murder the Empress Dowager, and you still plead for her? I am not pleading for her. I merely think even a condemned criminal gets a full trial before 3 judicial offices. Why is Her Majesty the Empress so eager to strike her down? The only person who knows the truth. Exactly. Your Majesty the Empress. What are you so anxious about? Consort Xian, you overstep your bounds. I have overstepped. But Your Majesty the Empress has lost your composure. Your Majesty. Nanny Zhou has served the Empress Dowager for many years. For her to commit such a heinous act, I was merely overcome with fury. Drag her away. Do not let her die. Interrogate her thoroughly. This servant understands. Your Majesty, spare me. This old servant was forced. I never wished to harm Her Highness the Empress Dowager. Gag her. Insolence. Someone threatened the lives of my grandnephew, forcing me to secretly smear poison powder on the edges of the scriptures. Who? Yes. It was someone from Fengyi Palace. Seal Fengyi Palace. Arrest all of the Empress's close attendants for interrogation. Your Majesty, I am your Empress. Sealing Fengyi Palace without solid evidence. What will the court officials think if word gets out? On the day of our mother's grand birthday celebration, she was poisoned. And you ask what the court officials will think? Jenner. Leave no one uninvestigated. Your son understands. My lady, you can barely hold on. Leave the rest to us. Escort Consort Nian back to her palace. Have the imperial physician accompany her. Yes. By His Majesty's verbal decree, Consort Nian, gentle, prudent, virtuous, and kind, has served with reverence and diligence, and has also rendered meritorious service in protecting the Empress Dowager. She is hereby promoted to Imperial Consort Nian, and bestowed with a golden album, a Rui scepter, 12 bolts of cloud pattern brocade, and 2 cases of Eastern pearls. This subject thanks His Majesty for his boundless grace. Imperial Consort Nian, His Majesty also said, since you are now with child, you need not go in person to express your gratitude. Please trouble yourself, Gonggang, to report back to His Majesty that this subject has taken note. My lady, didn't His Majesty originally say he would raise your rank after you gave birth? Last night, he said he changed his mind. Why? Hiding me away doesn't mean they won't try to harm me. Elevating my status, on the other hand, lets everyone know that before they move against me, they must first consider His Majesty. His Majesty is doing this to show his support for you, my lady. Put them all down. Yesterday, I misunderstood you. Let these things serve as my apology. Consort Xian, your willingness to come here already honors me. Spare me the act. You've been made a consort, yet you still dress so shabbily. If others see you, they'll think His Majesty is stinting on your food and clothing. I find nothing inappropriate about it. What use is what you think? Your face is already so pale, and if you wear such light colors from a distance, you look like you've just been fished out of a medicine pot. Then I shall thank you, Consort Xian. Who's your sister? I have no sickly weakling for a sister. Yes, Consort Xian. Oh, right. Is that roast lamb cook still in your Chushio palace? He is. Have him roast one for me as well. What are you staring at? I was frightened yesterday. Is it not allowed to calm my nerves with a lamb? Of course it is. Pick the plumpest one for Consort Xian. That's more like it. Now the whole inner palace knows you are with child. Be more careful from now on. In the palace, the danger isn't fools trying to harm you. It's the clever ones who haven't been completely rooted out. Thank you for the reminder, Consort Xian. I am not concerned about you. I know. What do you know? I know that Consort Xian simply wants to eat roast lamb. Humph, sickly as you are, your mind is still full of schemes. Send it to me once it's roasted. I won't eat it if it's cold. This servant will remember. My lady, did Consort Xian come to apologize? Or to snatch our food? A bit of both. Her words are harsh, but her mind is clearer than most. Those who openly voice their dislike for you are not necessarily the most dangerous. My lady, the court was lively again today. Again those officials are remonstrating, saying His Majesty shouldn't spend every single night in Chushio Palace, urging His Majesty to share his favor evenly, lest the 6 palaces fall out of balance. They worry about the harem more than His Majesty does. But as soon as they opened their mouths, the Grand General shut them down. His Majesty, though Consort Nian carries the imperial heir, must share his favor evenly across the harem, as befits the ancestral system. Minister Wang, aren't the 11 concubines in your own household enough to keep you busy? If you still find yourself idle, this general can gift you a few more. Ensure you share your favor evenly every day, and keep you too occupied to meddle in His Majesty's domestic affairs. His Majesty is the sovereign of all under heaven. How can he be compared to an ordinary husband and wife? Official Zhao. This humble servant is here. I hear you and your wife are at odds. Sleeping in separate quarters for years. Just because you lack a confidant of your own. Does that mean His Majesty is forbidden one? If you ministers have no official business, court is dismissed. My lady, several of those officials were left utterly speechless by the Grand General. This servant heard that when Minister Wang left court, his face was absolutely black. Serves him right. So many court matters go unattended, yet they fixate on where His Majesty spends the night. The Grand General and his wife are truly decent people. Laughing, still laughing? Do you have any idea? You're being torn to shreds by those old fogies at court? But isn't the Grand General shielding me? You certainly know how to hide behind others. Here, this is for you. This is a poison tester. Seeing how frail you usually are, and now with child, I fear you wouldn't even know how you met your end. Many thanks, Consort Xian. Thank me for what? I just worry everyone in Chushio Palace is too dim-witted, and these 2 snow lotuses are for you to strengthen your body. Tianshan snow lotuses. These are divine medicine for calming the fetus and replenishing qi. Even the palace pharmacy might not have them. Consort Xian, this is far too precious. That's enough. You're practically drooling. I must admit, I've never seen anything so fine. What a clueless country bumpkin. Nianer thanks Sister Xian. Who's your sister? You are, of course. I've never seen such wonderful things before. You are so kind to me, sister. Naturally, I must thank you. This is nothing. I have plenty of fine things. More than His Majesty's private stores. I'll send you more tomorrow. Won't Sister Xian keep some for herself? I have no use for them. My last miscarriage damaged my body. The imperial physician says it will be very difficult to conceive again. Nor do I wish to endure that suffering again. So these things just gather dust with me. Better to give them to you. Your body is the one truly in need. Oh, right. When the child is born, I will be his godmother. All my fine things will go to him. Gold locks, jade pendants, precious herbs. Whatever he wants, he shall have. Then the child thanks his godmother in advance. Who asked him to thank me? We'll talk once he's born. Very well, once he's born. Have the imperial physician examine the snow lotus before using it. Don't recklessly supplement yourself. If it harms you, I won't be responsible. Understood, sister. Stop babbling nonsense, you sickly thing. My lady, you've been reading this scroll for nearly an hour today. The Northern Yan are sending someone to the palace. I should know where she comes from. My lady knew all along the Northern Yan would send a tribute. My lady. Slow down, don't startle her ladyship. What happened? My lady, do you know? That Northern Yan princess entering the palace today? She is the second young Mississippi. As expected. She enters the palace today. His Majesty has already decreed her the title of Zhou. My lady, please, have a sip first. Back then, when the second young lady was sent away to the estate, it was because she failed in her attempt to harm you. Now she's transformed herself and entered the palace. And you are about to give birth. What if she makes a move? She will certainly make a move. My lady, Jichuan. Panic is useless. This servant only fears that with you so far along now. The imperial physician said you must not be startled. Your Highness, should we send word to the general's wife? The general's wife has been watching the old Beiyan informants all along. How she got from the estate to Beiyan all these years. Who changed her identity. All of it can be investigated. Is your Highness preparing to close the net? We cannot let her get close to you. It's still early. I want both her life and her mother's. Your Highness means concubine Lu is also. Do you truly believe I lost my mother at 8? By heaven's will? Do you truly believe this congenital weakness of mine is merely a matter of poor fate? I was too young then. My mother was gone. My father paid no heed. The entire Zhou household was under that woman Lu's control. Now her daughter has delivered herself right into the palace. New grudges and old hatred can be settled together. Your Highness, this servant understands. So for now, we won't send word to the general's wife, but we won't close the net yet. Just let her know that Zhou Wan has entered the palace. Tell the general's wife not to rush the Beiyan informant line. The person behind Zhou Wan is more important than Zhou Wan herself. What about the Palace of Accumulated Elegance? Starting today. Everything sent into the Palace of Accumulated Elegance. Test it first with the silverware sent by Consort Xian. Then have the imperial physician examine it. This servant understands. Also, no unfamiliar palace staff are to enter the delivery room. The list of midwives, wet nurses, and physicians, bring it to me tonight. Yes. The dishes bestowed upon each palace, procurement, washing, cooking, packing into boxes, all must follow the roster. Today is New Year's Eve. If even the slightest mistake occurs, no one will be spared. Chuxiu Palace must be watched even more carefully. Consort Nian is far along in her pregnancy. Anything that passes her lips, better slow than wrong. Rest assured, Chief Steward, Consort Nian's meal is prepared to consort rank specifications. The 16 dishes were packed separately by us servants, seals unbroken. The imperial kitchen seals are intact. The delivery unit was escorted the entire way by the imperial guard. No one was swapped out midway. Reporting to Consort Nian, His Majesty gave specific instructions for Chuxiu Palace's bestowed dishes to be personally overseen by the chief steward. I carried them the whole way here without daring to pause for a moment. Much obliged. Jichuan, see to his reward. On New Year's Eve, to trouble you, Ganggang, with making this trip. Take this and go have a cup of hot tea. 16 dishes for Her Highness. The consort rank meal truly is different. I only have eyes for that one dish. Roast lamb. Your Highness has been eating it every day lately, and you still haven't grown tired of it? Consort Xian said last time that Your Highness is a lamb's worst nightmare. Do you think he likes it too? The little prince must take after Your Highness with such a good appetite. Or he might take after His Majesty, with a good eye for choosing chefs. His Majesty has a message for Consort Nian. His Majesty says the court banquet will end late tonight. He asks Your Highness to dine first. No need to wait for him. Everyone in Chuxiu Palace must attend to her with utmost care. Should Her Highness feel the slightest discomfort, report to the front hall immediately, so His Majesty can be at ease. I will eat well. This servant will certainly relay that. Your Highness finished the entire platter. Today's dish was especially fragrant. The silverware shows no reaction. The dog shows no reaction either. The imperial kitchen seals are intact. It should be fine. The New Year's Eve bestowed dishes are the last place trouble should occur. Indeed. From procurement to delivery to each palace, the imperial kitchen chief steward personally oversees it all. Who would have the colossal nerve to meddle with that? It's precisely where trouble shouldn't happen, that people are most likely to let their guard down. Is something wrong, Your Highness? No. It's just... Zhou Wan has been far too quiet lately. The Northern Yen consort has been in the palace for half a month, yet she stays confined to her own quarters. She only occasionally pays respects to His Majesty and the Empress Dowager. She hasn't even dared to come near the Palace of Gathering Excellence. His Majesty expressly forbade her from coming here. She wouldn't have the nerve. Your Highness, you're with child. You tire quickly after meals. Why don't you rest on the daybed for a while? If His Majesty arrives, wake me. I will keep watch. Jichuan. My lady. My stomach, it's tightening. Is the child moving too strongly? It hurts. Summon the imperial physician. Go quickly to the front hall and inform His Majesty. Her Highness has abdominal pain. Someone fetch the imperial physician and go to the front hall for His Majesty. Call the midwife too. The food, what did Her Highness say? The roast lamb. Keep it. There's blood. Silence. Do not cry out recklessly. Consort Zhao Yi. His Majesty has bestowed more Eastern pearls and brocade. The Imperial Household Department says, given your pregnancy, the allotment is to be increased further. Tell them the Palace of Prolonged Happiness lacks for nothing. But gifts from His Majesty must naturally be carefully kept. Yes. Now everyone in the palace is saying, the Palace of Gathering Excellence has fallen completely out of favor. From now on, the inner palace looks only to you, Your Highness. My elder sister has been ill for so many years. It is finally time for her to rest. My lady. The charcoal delivered by the Imperial Household Department today is one basket less than last month again. Then let them send less. The colder it is at the Palace of Gathering Excellence, the more at ease others will feel. Your Highness, the entire inner palace now avoids us. They truly believe you have lost favor. If they wish to believe it, let them. Your Highness, the Northern Yen consort says in the Imperial Garden Passage, she wishes to see you. What is she doing here? She held out for half a month. That already shows some restraint. Will you see her, Your Highness? If I don't go out, how will she know I'm not doing well? Elder sister, it has been a long time. Greetings, Consort Zhou. Elder sister, why so distant? Back in the Zhou household. Weren't you the best at playing the proper elder sister? Consort Zhou, watch your words. Who asked a slave to speak? Look at this place. And you still put on the airs of a consort? Elder sister, you never expected this, did you? The year father sent me to the estate. You thought I'd never return to the capital. But now I am the Princess of Beiyin. A consort Zhao personally titled by His Majesty. I am with child too. Elder sister, weren't you always the best at fighting? Fighting for father, for the general's wife, for His Majesty. And in the end? You lost your child. His Majesty no longer comes to you. Who in the palace even remembers you now? Consort Zhou. Little sister. With your mind, there are some things you will likely never understand. What do you mean? My health is poor. I cannot stand here with you for long. Consort Zhao, since you are with child, you should avoid getting upset. Perhaps the child in your womb is smarter than you. Zhou Nian, my lady. Consort Nian is likely goading you on purpose. She's already a broken woman. A broken woman dares to act clever in front of me? Your Highness, she has gone too far. She thinks she has one. If she didn't think so, how would she show her true colors? Why do you look such a frightful mess? Greetings, Consort Xian. Greetings? What greetings? I am not well at all. They're all fair weather friends. His Majesty hasn't visited for only a short while, and already they dare to slight you. Sister, why are you so furious today? You're still smiling? You fool, pack your things. Come stay at my palace. If anyone dares to slight you, I'll flay them alive. Sister, my health is severely depleted. I only wish to rest quietly. Then I'll select a few clever maids and send them to you. At least make this wretched place fit for human habitation. No. Why? If your people enter Chushio Palace, word will spread outside. That consort Xian is backing Chushio Palace again. Right now, everyone thinks I'm finished. This is the perfect moment. You're pretending? My health truly is severely depleted. As for falling out of favor. Sister, what do you think? Zhou Nian, you're growing far too bold. Sister, are you afraid? What do I have to fear? I only fear you might overplay your hand and actually get yourself killed. I won't. About the child. Sister, please don't ask. Fine, I won't ask. But you must accept the things I send. If you lack anything, have Ji Chuan come secretly to fetch it. Thank you, sister. Spare me the formality. I'm only afraid that if you die, I'll have no one to eat roast lamb with. Zhou Wan is exceedingly smug these days. The smugger she is, the easier she'll make a mistake. Your Majesty, this servant will keep watch outside. If anyone approaches, this servant will hoot like a night owl 3 times. Where did you learn that trick? In reply to Your Majesty, from the maiden Jiqiu. She teaches everything, doesn't she? Your Majesty, she's asleep. Her Highness was waiting for you. Your Majesty, you've come late tonight. The palace walls aren't easy to climb. Didn't you say last time you could even scale the imperial study roof? That was when I was younger. Your Majesty is still young now. You saw Zhou Wan today. She's more impatient than she used to be. She thinks you've lost the child and lost our favor. Naturally, she can't keep her composure. Every time we see you like this, we think that night was far too dangerous. The danger made it convincing. If we hadn't let Zhou Wan believe she succeeded, she wouldn't be in such a rush to claim credit, nor would she be so quick to contact Northern Yen. You were in so much pain. Yet you still remembered to seal away that plate of lamb. My pain was real. My fear was real, too. And the child was real. How is he today? The child is well, very healthy. I want to see him. Endure it just a few more days. Has Zhou Wan made any suspicious moves today? She came during the day to provoke Her Highness. Tonight, the lamps in Yanqi Palace remain unlit. Our people saw her. A Northern Yen palace maid took a silver bell and headed toward the cold palace. She's finally made her move. We've already ordered the Imperial Guard to watch the cold palace walls. Eunuch Li's signal. She's on the move. Your Highness, take it slowly. We'll carry you there. Someone might see. If they do, it's just a disfavored, ailing consort being secretly taken by us for questioning. We'll see this act through with you. Tell the prince. The great Yu imperial heir has been eliminated. The commandery princess has done well. Once the child in your womb is secure, the great Yu harem will have our Northern Yen roots. Humph. Zhou Nian thinks she's bested me her whole life, but now, her child is dead. My child lives. Once I give birth to a prince, she will simply rot away in Chushio Palace, watching me rise step by step to the position she always dreamed of. This is the last bottle. If Consort Nian is not dead, find another chance to use it. In her current condition, Being alive is hardly different from being dead. We must not be careless. She managed to survive the Empress's schemes, so she is no fool. Shut up. If I had not been so young back in the Zhou household, she would have died even before her mother did. Did you hear that? I heard it. She even knows about my mother's death. Tonight, she will not leave this place. This subject pays respects to His Majesty. The Vivian princess visits the cold palace late at night. Is it to admire the moon? This subject has merely been feeling troubled lately, unable to sleep, and came out for a walk. This subject does not know why His Majesty is also here. Consort Zhou comes out for a walk, yet carries a Vivian silver bell and a secret letter. What secret letter? How dare a mere servant slander this consort? This servant would never dare slander Consort Zhou. It is just that this item fell from Consort Zhou's sleeve just now. We all witnessed it. Consort Nian has miscarried. Chuxiu Palace has fallen from favor. The Daiyu imperial line is now severed. Once Consort Zhou gives birth to a prince, Vivian may send envoys to the capital again, under the pretext of offering congratulations. Continue reading. Under the pretext of offering congratulations, to negotiate border trade in the 3 cities, while in truth planting operatives. What do you have to say for yourself? Your Majesty, this subject is wronged. This subject is a Vivian princess. Entering the palace for a marriage alliance was for peace between our 2 nations. Someone must be framing this subject. It is her. It must be my elder sister. Sister resents this subject for gaining favor and bearing a child, so she deliberately set a trap to harm this subject. In the eyes of outsiders, I have already lost both favor and child. I'm so sick I'm practically dying. With what means could I possibly set a trap for you? But you, dear sister, just now personally said the Daiyu imperial line has been eliminated. How do you know my child is gone? Everyone in the palace is saying so. Yet those 4 words, imperial line has been eliminated. Only the murderer would state them with such certainty. Your Majesty, I also carry your child in my womb. I was merely momentarily confused. My child. You were already with child before the marriage alliance. Did you think we could not uncover that? Impossible. So you were scheming against me from the very beginning. You knew all along. I told you. There are some things you will never figure out. When you fled the estate, on the road to northern Yen, you encountered no bandits. Did not freeze or starve to death. You thought you were just lucky. Had the general's household not secretly guarded you along the way, you would never have even reached the northern border. You deliberately let me go to northern Yen. While you were at the Zhou residence, I could not touch you or your mother. So I could only wait until you had gone far enough and climbed high enough. Zhou Nian, you are truly ruthless. Consort Zhou of northern Yen, of the Zhou clan, colluded with an enemy state. As a spy, she plotted against the imperial offspring. She framed other consorts. Take her to the imperial prison. All personnel of Yanqi Palace are to be detained for interrogation. I am with child. You cannot lay a hand on me. What you carry is not imperial offspring. Zhou Nian, do you think you've won? Your child is already dead. Why pretend to be so composed? So what if you've defeated me? Your child is gone. You can never silence her for the rest of your life. A fake thing, no matter how long it's worn, can never become real. Your Highness, word has come back from the imperial prison. Zhou Wan could not endure and has already confessed. She is just as she was when we were young. Whenever she makes a mistake, she can only bite at others to shift blame. She has never changed. Only before, she harmed the inner household of the Zhou family. And now, she harms the court of Daiyu. By His Majesty's decree. Consort Nian, of the Zhou clan, is gentle, prudent, virtuous, and amiable. She has rendered meritorious service in protecting the imperial heir. She has rendered meritorious service in assisting the investigation of northern Yen spies. On this start of spring, she is hereby elevated to the rank of noble consort, bestowed with a golden investiture scroll and a golden seal. This subject consort thanks His Majesty for his immense grace. Your Highness, noble consort, His Majesty also said you should rest and recuperate with peace of mind. His Majesty will personally handle all other matters for you. Attendant Lao, please relay to His Majesty. This subject consort has taken note. Well, Your Highness, noble consort. So our feelings were just part of your couple's little game all along? What game? Never mind, you wouldn't get it anyway. The child isn't dead. Losing favor was a ruse. I wasted all this time for nothing, getting angry on your behalf, cursing people out for you. You did an excellent job of cursing them, sister. Don't try to sweet-talk me. And you too, stop laughing. Everyone in your palace of accumulated elegance, one after another, acts more convincingly than a theater troupe. If you had known earlier, sister, your expression wouldn't have been so genuine. When you cursed the imperial household department, cursed the fence-sitters, and cursed me for being stupid, it was especially convincing. Zhou Nian, you really are. Forget it. Is the child truly all right? Being cared for at the Empress Dowager's palace. That's good. If you ever keep something like this from me again, I'll steal the roast lamb chef from your palace of accumulated elegance. Then this subject consort wouldn't dare. Humph. You dare, all right. Your Highness, why don't you sleep for a while? All right. Is being noble consort so impressive? You still need me to watch over you while you sleep. You're the best, sister. Spare me. By the mandate of heaven, the Emperor decrees. The first prince is intelligent, benevolent, and magnanimous. He carries the bloodline of the imperial house and embodies the hopes of the realm. He is hereby instated as the crown prince and shall assume his rightful place in the Eastern Palace. Your son thanks you for this great honor, imperial father. Your Majesty, if you cannot hold on, this servant will support you. Today, I cannot afford to falter. Once the ceremony ends, we return to the palace. Leave the rest for the Ministry of Rites to handle. Your Majesty was even more impatient than I today. We feared the Empress would tire herself. Zhou Nian, of virtuous and gentle conduct, has nurtured the imperial heir with merit and assisted in managing the inner court with skill. She is hereby established as Empress, rightfully occupying the central palace. Long live the Empress. All of you, rise. Before I crossed over, I was just a workhorse. After arriving, I thought I'd be the heroine. Never expected to be cannon fodder. And now, look at this. I've even become the harem's CFO. Consort Xian. Here are the flower department's accounts for this month. Don't Consort Xian me so smoothly. Your Empress has it easy, dumping all the harem management on me. Sister, the capable should do more. Save it. The flower department overreported 30 pots of peonies this month. Who's in charge? Come, I want to see if he's planting flowers or gold. Consort Xian says she won't bother. Yet she audits the books more meticulously than anyone. Forget it. Who asked me to love my job? Your Highness the Crown Prince, slow down. Mother Empress, the flowers have bloomed. Mother Empress sees them. Imperial father said, once Mother Empress feels better, he'll take you horseback riding. With your mother's constitution, riding a horse or a sedan chair, she'd find both tiring. Sister. When your mother feels better, let her watch you ride. I'm merely frail. That's all.